Steroids, the culmination of modern bodybuilding as we know it. Everyone is on them, from the top all the way to the bottom. And for what? All of this? Just for vanity? We're pushing ourselves too far as a race, and it needs to stop. This is why I present to you the end of steroids. So, as a disclaimer, I'm a full advocate against taking any PEDs. I think we need a new era of bodybuilding, and I think it needs to be done naturally. We need a new mindset, a new scope to look at things through. And I'm making this video to help anyone who is considering using steroids, so you can take a second guess. First of all, how many bodybuilders have died from abusing steroids? The list goes on, and I'm sure that there's so many that people don't talk about that go unnoticed, people don't name. From Joe Aesthetics, Neil Curry, Ilya Yefimchik, Antonia Souza, and many more. This isn't even to mention all the bodybuilders that haven't died but have developed permanent adverse health effects from abusing PEDs, or the steroids have made already underlying conditions worse. We should not be using synthetic hormones to increase our aesthetics, and it's not what bodybuilding should be centered around. I firmly believe that everyone should be competing to do this naturally, and that's how it should be. I think we should keep it that way for the health and safety of our bodybuilders and us as a society and the way that we look at things as a whole. The first thing I want you to consider if you're thinking about taking steroids, especially if you're young, is how it will affect your testosterone for the rest of your life. If you start taking steroids, there's really no going back. As soon as you start, especially if you are really young, like definitely if you're below the age of 25 or not fully developed, you will wreck your hormones for the rest of your life. They'll never go back, basically locking yourself into steroids for good. If you're fully developed, maybe 30 to 35, there's a chance that they can recover, but there's also a chance that you can permanently damage your testes and that they won't ever go back either. So that's not great, and I wouldn't even recommend it, even if there was a chance that it could come back in however long it would take. I think the popular bodybuilder Chris Bumstead has a pretty good take on all of this, and I think that you should listen to some of what he has to say about it.
What does the average person not know about steroids that they need to know?
Everything. There's probably a lot to it. And I mean, it's funny. I did a Q&A in Dubai the other week, and some kid just literally, probably 17, asked me if he should get on steroids. And I'm like, no. Like, first of all, I always tell people, if you have to ask someone else, you shouldn't. And the side effects to it can vary so greatly depending on the person. You just never know what you're going into. You could do one cycle and then your natural testosterone could be dumped for the rest of your life, or you have to be on TRT forever. It can make you infertile. It can lead to more risk of heart disease, increase of cholesterol. It can affect your liver, all your organs. It can be very damaging, especially when abused, which is typically people can get addicted, not addicted like a drug, but you get addicted to the result and how you feel, how you look, and all that stuff. So I definitely recommend anyone at a young age don't even begin to touch it.
On top of that, there's so many negative side effects to it and so many things that can go wrong. You can just look at a list from a government website and you've got obviously you got gyno, infertility, testicular atrophy, increased risk of liver tumors and liver damage. That's a big one. Acne, baldness. I mean, that's lesser, but still. Elevated blood pressure, premature epiphyseal plate closure, so your bone plates closing faster, which means you're not going to grow anymore. I guess that would be if you are younger, I would assume. Could be wrong, but increased risk of tendon tears, that's a big one too, because your muscles will grow faster than your tendons, and that's not great. It can also affect you psychologically, mania, depression, aggression, mood swings. I mean, think about it. You're literally upping your hormones by a crap ton. Think about how that's going to feel on a day-to-day, everyday basis. It's not great. I mean, there's a lot more side effects here that I'm sure aren't listed that could be just for the individual. It might make some underlying health condition worse, or It could cause changes to your heart that might not be listed here, that may happen in some people and not other people, but still extremely risky. And I can't see a world where this should be used, especially normalized. Why would we normalize this or glorify? Why would we say that this is okay? This is not what we need to be doing. And it comes down to a problem in our society which we lack, and that is patience. Everyone wants the most extreme of things. They want to be huge, they want to be the biggest guy, and they want it right now. They can't wait, they can't trust the process. Everything gets skewed by the media, glorification of PEDs, all the influencers that are using them. Basically everyone's fake now, nobody's authentic anymore. Everyone's on them. All of your top, most trusted, idolized people probably on steroids. And that's not even the only thing they're doing to fake their appearance. I mean, there's a bunch of other things, but it is probably the biggest one. The way we look is like one of the most important things to us as humans. And I think we have some issues in our society that need fixing. We get so insecure about the way we look, and we turn to steroids as a way to stop it. Some magical crutch that can fix everything and instantly make you look the way that you want. But at what cost? I would love to see the next generation start a new era of bodybuilding that's clean and natural and void of PEDs instead of the opposite. I really hope that the next generation can make a difference. I think we can stop this normalization and glorification of PEDs. I think we can achieve the same thing naturally, at least somewhat close, right? If you train all the way up until 35 years old, 40 years old, you're gonna look like, if you have the genetics for it especially, you're gonna look pretty damn close to someone who is on a crap ton of PEDs. Maybe even if you're like some anomaly, you could even look as good. But we shouldn't be trying to look like some crazy beasts on stage. I don't think that's what it should be for, and I think it's extremely unhealthy for everyone to be doing that. I really don't think that we should be. And isn't it for the better, right? If all of the bodybuilders are happier and healthier and in a better state, and as a society it's not so normalized and we don't have to worry about it all the time, if we're all natural and authentic, wouldn't that be better for us as a society? Why should we all want to look like that? It's unrealistic and quite literally fake. I mean, it's not even legitimate. And obviously there are going to be outliers who can achieve that way of looking naturally without the steroids. And I think that's what Mr. Olympia should be for, right? To showcase the best of the best. But I think it should be done naturally. I think those people should still get the spotlight, right? But obviously natural, that's almost an even bigger achievement. Nobody's ever reached their natural genetic potential by the time they start using steroids. You don't even reach that until 35 or 40 years old, when you're in your absolute prime. Nobody has gotten to that point yet. I don't even know if anyone's really gotten there yet. If anyone's really gotten to that point before they turn to steroids, I highly doubt it. I do know, that steroids have made some professional people's lives possible and made their careers possible. But that's because it's been so normalized that you basically have to be on them at this point. And I don't think that should be a criteria for being a professional bodybuilder or, athlete or anything. But that's the athlete side is another story. I'm talking about specifically bodybuilding. I think if we switched as a society to stop normalizing and using steroids, that wouldn't have to be a requirement anymore. And that wouldn't have to be a thing. I think that we definitely need to change the way that we look at things, the way that we see ourselves and other people. It would promote a way better, healthier society. I think we all need to have patience in our workouts, change our mindsets, and try to become healthier as a society without any of the use of synthetic hormones. I hope that this video helped anyone. If you are thinking about using performance enhancing drugs, especially if you are young or around my age, because I'm pretty young as well, I really encourage you not to. I want to be that model or that guy that is the voice that says to not do it, because I feel like we're living in an age where it is being pushed so hard, especially to younger people, and I think that's just absolutely disgusting. Like, we should not be resorting to this. This should not be what we are doing as a society. I really don't want anyone to turn to that and it screws up their whole life, wrecks their whole life. I'm not going to try to pretend like it's good in any way. I'm not going to bullshit. It's not. There's no excuse for using them. I don't think that we should be at all. I hope this helps some people. If it did, then I made my goal of making this video, which is to help people, and especially younger people. I really hope it helped. Peace out, guys.